Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island, and today we are going to be continuing the segment of Top 100 to 100, where I'm counting down my 100 favorite albums to 100 subscribers. Again, this is favorite albums, not necessarily what I think is the best or most artistic, just the ones that I have really good memories associated with. And also at the end of this, I will be announcing a contest and doing my very first giveaway to the vinyl community. Now let's get on to the countdown. I have Deerhunter Halcyon Digest. This album was very formative to me. It helped me understand some new different type of sounds, that all music doesn't have to be super intricate. It can have these laid back, open, spacey, airy moments that you can enter into and kind of nestle yourself within. It's one of those records that I find myself having a very emotional attachment to, and each one on here is ruminative, contemplative, and gorgeous. It's a very well produced record. And I love the fact that the last song ends on just an abrupt note. I believe that it was written after his friend Jay Reatard had passed away, and you can definitely tell because the song is 9.5 minutes long, showing how life can go on for a very long time, but then just end like that. And it's something that I think about on a frequent basis. And because of that, this record has stuck with me and continues to stick with me, and I highly suggest you give it a listen. At number 74, we have The Smiths' self-titled debut album. This record really has a special place in my heart. It got me through a lot of painful times and memories. It just stretched me as a listener, and it made me feel like I was being listened to in my angsty, more younger days. And it's just chock full of fantastic tracks. Reel Around the Fountain, Still Ill, This Charming Man, Suffer Little Children. There's not really a weak moment on it. And that's something that the Smiths really have in their discography, is a lot of strong LPs. And for a band that was known mostly as being a singles group, they had a stellar discography. But to me, the Smiths' self-titled will always be the one that I go to the most. It has this glittering production value to it. Johnny Marr's guitar just dances across the track so well. And Morrissey's vocals are just phenomenal. He has this wonderful tremolo to his voice the entire time, and I get lost inside of it every single time that I put it on the turntable. Great album, The Smiths' self-titled debut. Next, we have the Beastie Boys, The In Sounds from Way Out. This record is a compilation of all of their instrumental breakbeats between their vocal tracks on all of their albums, as well as a few new instrumental tracks. And to me, one of the things that separated the Beastie Boys from a lot of the other hip-hoppers of the 90s is the fact that they played their own instruments. They started off as a punk rock group, and their prowess on their instruments is great. I can't believe how well they did. And it's truly one of those albums where I get into the groove every single time. It reminds me a lot of Grant Green circa 1972. Just great stuff, acid jazz with that hip-hop slant. You can definitely get into the beat and the groove on this album. And you know, you can find copies for fairly cheap on the reissues, but original copies go for a lot of money. I would highly suggest anyone who hasn't listened to this, give it a shot, listen to it. I'm not a huge Beastie Boys fan, but this is one of my favorite albums of all time, so even if you're not a Beastie fan, give it a listen. At number 72, we have the Thelonious Monk Quartet, Monk's Dream. This record is another one of those albums where it took my appreciation for jazz to new heights. Hearing Monk's angular piano stylings really opened my mind into what piano could sound like. I only thought it could be this Western style where lots of notes and flourishes are played, but really it's the spaces between the notes that makes Monk's styling so very intriguing and appealing to listen to. It's always waiting with a bated breath what his next move is going to be. Also, the quartet that he's assembled here plays so beautifully together. They're like one mind. And this is easily the highlight of Monk's strong Columbia outings. It's definitely his diamond and another masterpiece in a career full of them. At number 71, we have the tallest man on earth, The Wild Hunt. I love this record. It continued my love of singer-songwriters and folk music. It sounds like Bob Dylan was plucked straight from his Greenwich Village days and never lost a step. It is beautifully played and wonderfully constructed. The songs on here always capture me. King of Spain is a constant song that I return to time and time again, and it really, again, helped me through a lot of difficult times. His lyricism on here is so poetic, it almost hurts. It's achingly beautiful, wonderfully constructed, and just one of those albums that you can listen to time and time again. And even though it was recorded in 2010, it has this timeless quality that it could have been plucked from the 1920s and it can be played 100 years from now and still will sound timely. And I love that the fact he stays away from topical songs and makes them more personal, because unlike some of Bob Dylan's earlier material, this will always have a place in time in a person's life. And while I love that material by Bob, this to me is superior. And it takes what he had laid the groundwork of and continues to build on top of it. And for that reason, I say that this is one of my favorite albums of all time. So guys, what did you think of this installment? Did you recognize anything? Would you choose anything different? Let me know in the comments below, and I want you all to have a great day on your own personal oasis. Stay safe out there.